Can't hear the sound.
Well, it's not playing it.
Oh, well, that would be the reason.
Yeah. No. Here now.
Two bald guys and they're talking about hockey. Two bald guys and they're talking about hockey. Two bald guys and they're talking about hockey. Two bald guys talking about hockey. Two bald guys and they're 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 talking about hockey. And they're bald. And there's hockey. Hockey.
Hey, we're
Hey,
back.
hey,
We've been
yes,
away for a while.
I know, eh? It's since
Yeah.
before the trade deadline.
Yeah, it's been weeks. I was trapped in Florida and you were trapped at work.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. We've
So
had much to talk about that we haven't talked about.
I
So,
know the NHL trade deadline went by, DCHL trade deadline went by, and now we're getting into the playoff race in picture. So
just
you,
posting our link onto the Facebook page. And
Steve, we cannot see your face. You are white, 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 white.
okay, well, I will fix that in 1 second.
Okay.
Nobody wants to see my face anyway. Is that
Oh,
better?
that's
That should.
better. Yes, much better.
It's just with the lighting in here.
Maybe you lean back more. Yeah, yeah, that's perfect where you are.
So, and I am wearing
Me too.
the shirt that shows off our boobs.
So, I'm gonna keep saying it. I've said it before. That is probably the best team show song on Facebook.
It is. It really is. It is awesome. I
Yeah,
love it.
it is awesome.
And apparently Mark Deese likes it as well. So shout out to Mark Deese. Welcome, fan of the show. And I finally talked my wife into being a follower. So,
I guess
so
she just wants you to keep working.
yes, yes. Well, she wants to be able to go to bed early without me bugging her. So there you go.
Yeah,
Sunday nights, she gets to go to bed and I get to talk to you people. So there we
nice.
are. So, Jean, you want to talk about what first here, my friend?
Let's talk about the NHL trade deadline, and
NHL
then
trade deadline.
DCHL trade deadline, and then we'll talk about the playoff picture,
Okay.
and then we'll talk about the sim and how it baffles us.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know if my therapist wants me to talk about it, but I will. I'm sure Zach will love to listen to me talking about my team's success this year, the holder of my first round pick. Okay, so you want to talk about first the NHL trade deadline?
Yeah, because
Um,
it happened before the DCHL trade deadline. So
yeah. Well, and there was the problem with Russian hackers or whatever it was that kept the site down for a few days while I was away.
yeah,
So,
and
sorry, go ahead.
you know what I find funny is like a lot of us in the league are in another league, and the same thing happened to the other website at the same time. It was just really weird.
Well, and it's interesting because what would make a sim league interesting to a Russian hacker or to someone?
They don't know. They're just throwing shit against a wall, and hopefully something sticks. That's all it is, right? So,
Like it's not like there's money on the site to be had, right? So
no,
it'd be
absolutely
awful
not.
if they stole all my DCHL cash.
I know. And made your team make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I could have handled that. Remember, I promised I wouldn't be bitter on the show, and
I know.
you're just throwing shit out there to see what it does to me, right?
I know. It was just, it was out there. It was like,
And it was
you just teed it up for me. Yes.
okay.
So,
So you
like, we're
the
not gonna go.
NHL trade deadline. I
Yep.
did want to talk about the Ottawa Senators, the NHL Ottawa Senators, because I wanted so bad to talk to you when they made the two trades, the two big
Yeah.
trades made. Um, I know you're a big Zach Ostapchuk fan.
Yes, I am.
So why don't you talk first about the Zetterlund trade? Zetterlund for Ostapchuk and Gregor. I don't think we either of us cared about Gregor going.
No, Gregor was to me is a fourth liner and doesn't really matter. Doesn't change anything for any team. Um, I love the trade for Ottawa. As I'm a big fan of Sawchuk, but I think he's still at least a year away from being a third line, second line player. And right now in Ottawa, he wasn't going to get that opportunity at this time. So I think him going to San Jose, he's going to get more opportunity to develop and grow his game. So I think that's going to be part of for us of Sawchuk. And I think Zetterlund, although he only has one assist so far, I
He's
think
played great.
he's
Like
playing really well.
I can't believe he hasn't scored anything.
Good speed, good hands. He's a physical player. He's not like a guy that's going to drop the gloves, but he's a physical player. He goes in the corners, goes on. He's a really good along the boards. So I love that trade for Ottawa because he's going to be a part of the Senators' future for a long time. And although Ostapchuk was going to be, I think he's more what they need now. So
Yeah, I'll say this: like I like Ostapchuk probably not nearly as much as you do, and I think it's one of those trades that in a few years they might regret a little bit if Ostapchuk becomes. And I don't see him as a second line; I see him as a third
I
line
agree.
guy. But he's just one of those character guys that you love to have on your team,
Yep.
and you hate to play against.
Yep.
And what's
So
Zetterlund contract wise? Is he a UFA at the end of the season?
yeah, I think he's going to end up making around the same thing as a Ridley Gregg or what Pinto is making right now. I think it's going to be between 2.5 and 3.5 for the next 3 years. And if you think about how the cap is going up, that's going to be more than manageable.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I'm hope like well, are the Suns planning on resigning him then? I assume. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. They want him. They like he's part of the future. They,
See, this
like
was
they
the
really.
problem with me being. I was in Florida at the trade deadline, and nothing like it was just not covered at all. Like there was
Yeah,
just
no.
no information at all. So it was just what could I see on like the TSN trade tracker, and
Hmm.
just figuring it out from there on my own.
Yeah.
But the Zetterlund for Ostapchuk, I I like the player they got. I I I feel like I'm gonna miss the player they gave up. I feel like that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think Ostapchuk could be like a really good, valuable player, and I see him as a third line center, uh, within the next couple of years for San Jose.
Yeah.
So
Oh well. Anyway, the other big trade, uh, Dylan Cousins, basically Dylan Cousins for Josh Norris and Jacob Bernard Docker You said Ottawa got a second round pick in that as well, which
And Dennis Gilbert.
and I don't who's Dennis Gilbert.
He's a 6th, 7th defenseman. He's 6'2", 215, and he's tough. So he doesn't mind dropping the gloves. The first game that when he came over from Buffalo on the Friday night or Saturday, I can't remember. It was the next day, the Saturday. And Saturday afternoon, it was against the Rangers. No, wasn't that game. Anyways, so the next game after Ottawa had acquired him, Dennis Gilbert played. And he went and he stretched at the red line just to set the tone. Like,
Okay.
that's what I like. I love that about him, that he did that.
Well,
So
I I will say this. I've not been a huge Dylan Cousins fan when he was in Buffalo.
mhm.
So I was a little bit disappointed with the trade in that we gave up Josh Norris, who I feel like is a character guy and a good scoring player. But since the trade, Dylan Cousins has been outstanding.
Yep.
Outstanding. Like, thank God I'm not the GM of the Ottawa Senators, because I wouldn't have made that trade. And it looked like they made the right move. Josh Norris is out again with an injury.
Yeah. For me, I've always been a Dylan Cousins fan. Also, and I like Josh Norris. And as you said, he's a character guy. I've seen a video of the background of the trade on the Buffalo side. So they taped inside the room when they were talking about the trade with Ottawa. And the one thing that Lindy Ruff kept saying in that video is that they needed to change the culture, and that they believe that Josh Norris is a culture guy that will help change the culture. The only thing that I was nervous about Josh Norris was the amount of times he gets injured, and he's injured again.
Well,
So
I mean, we're what, 2 weeks into the trade?
yeah,
I feel
he's
like
injured.
Ottawa's in the better position
Yeah.
than because Jacob Bernard Docker, I think we both like him, but they just have
He's a
so
6th,
many
7th
defensemen.
defenseman.
Yeah. They just have too much depth at that position that he didn't have much of a high end future with the team.
Yep.
So sending him
So-
to Buffalo and getting Dylan Cousins, who I'll be the first to admit I was wrong. I was wrong. He looks like he plays with Batherson, and who was the other one on his line? Is it
David Perron.
David Perron? And they've been great.
Batherson has been awesome since Cousins has come in. And one of the things that I didn't realize until they made the trade is Josh Norris this year wasn't a very good 5-on-5 producer. Most, like 90% of his points came on the power play. And Cousins is producing and bringing Perron and Batherson to produce on 5-on-5, which is something that Ottawa needed. So-
Okay. Booyah. And I mean, they got a point tonight
Yeah,
against Pittsburgh. And I feel like they played better. They just both goalies were great and a power play in overtime.
yeah, exactly. So
And Sidney Crosby. But they're in the playoffs. They are in the playoffs. Like this year,
And-
I feel, you know how nervous I get on shit like this, but I am actually at a point now where I'm confident saying they're going to make the playoffs.
well, Ottawa has 9 games left, 8 of them at home. And they are 5 points ahead of Montreal, who's the next team. And they're 7 points?
I thought
Or
there were
8
7
points?
points up on the playoffs.
7 points on the Rangers and the Islanders and Columbus. And so if Ottawa, I think if you get to 91 or 92 points, you're in. And so they
Well-
have 84 points now.
Columbus or the Rangers would have to go on some historic run,
So
like finishing out the year 10-0.
so if Ottawa gets 8 points in their last 8 games, I think they're in. Because every other team has 8 or 9 games or less. So that means for them to get to 92 points, they would have to win out if Ottawa gets 8 points. So I'm confident, nervous, but confident.
So I've never, I mean, this is such a new feeling for me.
I know.
Ottawa. Well, and my wife and I will be attending the game next Sunday.
That's cool.
Yeah. Columbus will be in town. And I feel like that was just yesterday.
Yeah, it was. And I was at that game.
You were at the game yesterday?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Justin and I, his girlfriend, and Marilyn and I went to the game.
I watched the first period.
Um,
The downside of being someone who gets up early on Sunday mornings.
and I will tell you, it's a lot of fun to be at the Canadian Tire Center right now as a fan.
Oh, yeah?
After you'll see completely different than it was the last 7 years.
Well,
lot of fun
I
to do.
imagine the fans are just loving the energy and the excitement of a playoff run.
Yep. So I'd like to go to one more game before the end of the season. So
Next Sunday?
But-
Sunday?
yeah, it could be a game next Sunday.
I don't know if there's tickets available or not.
Yeah. So we'll see. So other trades. There's a few trades that I like. I will tell you, people that know me know how much I hate the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like despise. And I will tell you, I like the trades they made. They needed to bring character and players that will play in the playoffs and will be there for them in the playoffs. And they brought in Scott Laughton, Brandon Carlo, and who else did they bring in? There was somebody else that they had. So just personally, I like the trades that the Leafs made. And I think that Carolina did really well considering with Rantanen, considering that he didn't want to sign with them. And they were running out.
I know they got a lot of heat for it, but I think they did well.
They did really well.
Like,
They did.
all things considered, they took a guy that they thought they could re-sign, who made it clear he wasn't going to re-sign with them.
Yeah. So I think they did. I think they did really well. And I think that the Winnipeg Jets didn't do a lot, but picking up Brandon Tanev and Luke Schenn is all they needed to do at this point. So.
Well, Luke Schenn's a steady defense, right? Like he's
a playoff guy. Oh, and Colorado getting Charlie like they've completely rebuilt their team. Half their players that they have on their roster right now weren't on the roster at the start of the season, including their 2 goalies. So Colorado.
Sorry, I'm just calling up the Leafs trade here for Carlo.
Yeah.
And Brandon Carlo, I like, but
Mhm.
they gave up a shit ton. They like Fraser Minton a first and a fourth.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? Like Fraser Minton is at least 2 to 3 years away, and your first in 2026. What do you like? You again? That's 4 to 5 years away potentially because it's going to be a late first.
Is it
And the
though?
Leafs need to win. They need to win playoff rounds.
Yes. But is it going to be like what are the Leafs going to be like next year? Are they like I think this is their last year of being great.
I think remember that Tavares' contract is coming off the books for them, and the cap is going up. Is it $7 million? So they're going to be able to do something. And Carlo is not just a rental; he's signed for many years. Like I think 2 more years.
I do think it's funny that Brad Marchand goes to Florida for less for just a second round pick.
Well, it could be a first if he plays for them in the first 2 rounds. And the thing is, he would only go to Florida.
Oh, he was only going to go to Florida.
Yeah, because it like he told them, you know what, like because he again that was I saw the a little bit of the background in that he wanted they were $2 or $3 million apart, and he wanted to like he went to face-to-face meeting with uh, the Bruins management, and he said, "Okay, let's come up with a deal." And they came up with the term, but they couldn't agree on the salary. So he said, "Okay, well, trade me, and I'm only going to Florida, and I'm not re-signing, so you might as well trade me now." And so,
Well, here's your Colorado. Here's one of
yeah,
them, the Charlie Coyle
yeah,
for Middlestat.
and they uh, they made a trade for
I remember they got a
uh,
defense.
uh, Brock Nelson. They traded Callum Ritchie. They got Coyle.
Yeah,
From
there's Brock
Middlestat.
Nelson.
Middlestat
There's the
wasn't
Brock
doing
Nelson
well.
trade.
They paid a huge price to get Nelson.
Well, Callum Ritchie, a first round pick, a third round pick.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Oh, and there's the other. Boston went from having no futures, and now they have Marat Kushnedinov, who
mhm.
was a solid pick in the 2020 draft.
Yeah, Bruins fan, they're gonna be they're rebuilding, but they're gonna be in good shape.
So,
Yeah.
any other trades of these that stand out to you?
Uh,
Only the major ones. There's Tampa
yeah,
Bay getting.
yeah. Tampa Bay again, like getting Gord and Bjorkstrand was really good for them. So
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Were these actually on the day, or these were the day before, or whatever?
they're kind of the day before. Those ones were the
Yeah.
day
Oh,
before.
okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Uh, Again, this is the problem with being in Florida, man. They showed none of this. Pittsburgh trading, yeah, Pittsburgh got some more assets anyway, some young,
Yeah, they did.
which is what they desperately need. Like I get why they won't trade Sidney Crosby. He probably won't let them. But
Well, the only way they're trading Crosby is they go see him and they say, "Okay, Sid, like, do you want to stay? Do you want to go? Because it's going to be 3 years in a row we don't make the playoffs."
My guess
So-
is he ends up being like Mario, and he's the team owner, and
Well, Mario's the team owner because they owed him so much money.
they just
They
gave him
gave
the
him the
team.
team. They
Yeah,
said, okay, you know what? We don't have any money. Here's the team.
yeah, and that's why he came back to play, right?
Yep,
Because then he
Yeah.
could build up the asset.
exactly. So he came back to play so he could make his team worth more.
Well, and then he wins the draft lottery, gets
Gets
arguably a top 5 player all time.
2003, Marc-Andre Fleury, Hall of Fame goalie. 2004, second pick overall, gets Malkin. 2005, you get Crosby.
In the draft lottery, that was off of the
Yep,
the
the lockout.
lockout. So there was no season, and they just had it was like a much different percentage chance of winning.
Oh, everybody was even.
Well, no, because they had a weighted system that if you'd made the playoffs, you got 1 point. If you
Yeah, but
but they had the same odds as probably 10 other teams.
yeah, but if you won the draft lottery the year before, like in the 2 years before, you could not win the draft lottery that year. And because they had traded up for the Marc-Andre Fleury trade pick, they ended up winning. So
Well, I mean, good on them. Good on them.
yeah,
Tim
Okay.
Stutzla.
I know. Stutzla and Sanderson, 2020. Thank you very much.
Who could be like you could make the case that they are the 2 best players to come out of that draft. Although
And
Quinton Byfield is definitely playing.
He's still third. He's playing well. To me, he's third. And to me, hands down, I love Tim Stutzla, but Jake Sanderson is the best player in that draft right now, and he will be at the end of his career.
He played great today. He played great today. Like
He always plays like that. Like so.
that was. Oh yes, that was a great draft. And at the time, I didn't want them to take Jeff Sanderson. Jeff
Jake.
Sanderson's son. Didn't want them to take him, but again, this is why I'm probably not the general manager of the actual Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
And probably why my Ottawa Senators are not making the playoffs this year. So, okay, why don't we talk about the playoffs in the DCHL right now while we're talking about it?
Just quickly, there was a lot of trade in the DCHL trade deadline, but not a lot to talk about. Let's just go with that.
Oh, okay, so we're not going to talk about it. I mean, there was a whole lot of nothing.
There's a whole lot of nothing. I was surprised that Boston traded Dylan Strome to Buffalo.
Well, I was surprised Buffalo gave up Troy Terry.
Yeah. So,
Like, just seemed like an odd trade. Like, I think Troy Terry has been a fixture for the Buffalo Sabres since they drafted him.
mm-hmm. So, but besides that, there wasn't not much.
No.
Was happened.
Although the trading the Nathan Legare and Jack Johnson, I'm assuming this was a salary dump.
Yeah, and because look, he gave him $2 million for Jack Johnson's salary.
Wow. So that he could afford Troy Terry, I guess. Like I don't know, whatever.
It's because he. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe one day Nathan will explain it. But he's in the playoffs. He's doing well.
Yep. As I said before, Nathan finds a way.
He finds a way.
His team is completely new, but he found a way. Like, there's so many times I'm looking at Nathan's team, I'm like, how is he going to be able to get himself out of this one? And
Well,
finds a
and
way.
so many times he trades away more than what he gets, but
But
what
he
he
finds a
gets
way.
ends up performing really well.
Yeah, finds a way.
So,
So,
I'm done. I'm done openly criticizing him, but I do question.
yep, I agree. I understand.
Okay, so Montreal continues their amazing season, their
Yep.
storybook season. Like, wow, he made some good trades down the stretch too. Like, credit to him, he's done a great job.
Yep. And the torch has officially been passed on as the best team in the Atlantic from
Yeah.
Buffalo to Montreal.
Well, it'll be interesting next year with where Tampa Bay lies in this. I think Tampa Bay is going to have a much better season next year.
Yeah. Tampa Bay will. Boston's still going to be there. Ottawa's going to be better. So.
Are they though? Are they? Like, I don't know. Like, that GM might get fired this offseason. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, an actual NHL GM would be fired.
Yeah. I agree.
So, okay, I think Buffalo is going to be hard pressed next year. We said that at the start of the season. Like, I'm not saying they're dead, but I they're going to be hard pressed next year to make the playoffs.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
okay, so Philly's already locked in. Looks like they'll win the division. Montreal's already well, they're not locked in, but I feel like they're locked in.
Montreal's going to win the division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Detroit is hanging on here. They're only 1 point out,
Yep.
same number of games. Whoever comes out of there is playing Boston. I actually feel like that would be a pickup series anyway. If it's Buffalo, I'd have to pick Buffalo. But Boston's done so well this year.
Yeah. And Detroit is playing in their last 9 games, playing Toronto, Tampa Bay, Florida twice,
I'll call up the
and St.
schedule here.
Louis. That
Only
are
3 home
winnable
games. Only 3 home games.
Yeah, but there's at least 5 winnable games out of that.
Oh, St. Louis for sure. Florida for sure.
Yeah, that's 2.
Florida twice, so that's 3. Tampa Bay, but
And
Tampa Bay's
Toronto.
been playing well right now. So, and Tampa Bay's at home. Toronto 4 for sure. So, I guess the Tampa Bay game becomes really important.
Yeah, because they've got Dallas, New Jersey, Montreal, and Carolina as the other game. So
Yeah. So here we're looking at Buffalo here. Now Buffalo's got Ottawa,
that's an easy
and
win.
Ottawa desperately wants to win this as the holders of Buffalo's first round pick. So we will definitely be putting our number 1 goalie and best team forward for this game. But then they've got Tampa Bay again. Tampa Bay's been playing well though. Like, I don't think you can just say Tampa Bay is going to roll over here.
They've got Tampa Bay twice.
Boston, Buffalo,
Carolina, Columbus. Again, Columbus is like shocked.
I did predict that in the preseason show. Maybe not that they were going to be. I predicted that they'd be in the playoffs. Okay, and Florida. We'll say Florida's a win.
Yeah,
Toronto should be a win. Finishing off with Philly, though. This actually could be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If Ottawa wins Tuesday night, they have to beat, they have to win. We said that Detroit's going to win 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
So they have to win 4 or 5 games. So let's say they beat Florida. Now they have to beat Tampa Bay at least once.
Yeah. You should.
You should. And then they have
That's
to win
two.
two of these other games. Well, Toronto
For
would be 3.
Toronto. Yeah.
Now they have
So
to win one of Boston, Carolina, Philly, Columbus. It's going to be close.
yeah.
It's going to be close. If one of these two guys can go on a run through that stretch, good on
It's
them.
it will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So
So maybe Detroit can go on a run and Buffalo will fade down and Tampa Bay will pass them, thus making the Buffalo first round pick even better.
one can only hope, eh? Something
One
needs to go your
actually,
way.
and only one can only hope.
And something needs to go your way this year, right?
So God, something has to.
Something, one thing go your
Uh,
way this year.
maybe I'll win the draft lottery with Buffalo's pick and move
Yeah.
up 10 spots because I can't see
Move,
them going in the top 11 or whatever.
move up
Whatever.
10 spots.
That's all I got, Joe. That's all I got now is just hopes and dreams.
I know.
It's like thoughts and prayers. Okay, so let's look at the wild card here. Uh, New Jersey, Columbus. I feel like they're locks. Carolina's a lock. Everything's pretty much settled in the East.
Yep. It's just the Detroit Buffalo battle.
Well, and I guess the Rangers in Tampa Bay have an outside shot, but not like
Well, the Rangers would have to win out and hope
pretty
that
much.
who is it? Is it Columbus? Yeah, the Columbus. No, the Rangers can't. Oh, they would have to hope that Carolina loses or the Islanders go on a major losing streak.
Oh,
Islanders
you're
are
right,
7-2
because of the
and
division. So it would just be Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is really the only team
yeah,
because they
has an
are
outside
like 5 points out or whatever.
have an outside shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll just assume that Ottawa's out. And okay, so the team I do want to talk about in the West is Minnesota. Holy shit. I went away and they were not in the playoffs. They were
Well,
not in a playoff
9 and
spot.
1, but if you look at their schedule, I think they're even better than 9 and 1.
Let's take a look. I'm pretty sure they were like just outside the playoffs the last time I looked before I left for my trip. And they've gone on some ridiculous run. Oh well, I guess having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game homestand would help with that. And looks like they won every one of those games. Oy. Holy shit, they've been on a
They
run.
were on a 13-game winning streak, and guess who they lost their first game against? Go
Uh,
down. Washington Capitals beat them 5-2.
who've been on some crazy run since they hired a new coach.
Yeah. So Minnesota is 14 and 1 in their last 15 games.
And the only game they lost to was one of the scrub teams.
And if you go even farther than that, they've lost 3 games going
Wow.
back to like
They lost to Montreal. They
Montreal
lost to Utah
and Washington.
and Washington.
They're like 25-3.
This is reminding me of the New Jersey run from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, you really got to look at Minnesota and think long playoff run. Like they can go all the way to the finals.
So let's do a what is it? The transition segue and look at the stats, and we'll figure out why the Minnesota Wild
Yeah, the
are
league leaders. Because this great segue. Because what we wanted to talk about was disappointing seasons from some star players, from NHL star players who are struggling in the DCHL. And like we'll start off with most notably, probably the greatest player in the NHL. I will say the greatest player in the NHL right now, Connor McDavid.
yeah,
Less than a point per game in the DCHL. 73 games, 72 points.
Then there's if you have to go lower in the standings for top scorers, Nikita Kucherov, 70 points in 72 games.
And only 24 goals.
Okay. So, but Kucherov has 109 points this year. He had 144 last year and 113 the year before. So
he's almost a half point, half the total of points.
So what the hell? Like, is the Sim not recognizing that Kucherov is one of the best players in the NHL right now and has been for the last 10 years?
And he's playing on a good team in
Yeah.
New York Islanders with good players.
And they were back-to-back Stanley Cup champion.
It's not like the year he played with the Rangers where he was buried on the fourth line for no good reason.
So it's somebody needs to explain that to me. Somebody needs to say, you know what? You don't know anything.
Rupe Hintz has more points than Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, Leon Draisaitl, Nikita Kucherov, like all these amazing players.
So Kucherov has 5 100-point seasons in the last 7 years and 2 scoring titles. And he, in the last 8 years, he's been more than a point a game. Like, not just a little bit, like way more than a point a game.
The leading scorer in the league this year.
And last
Sebastian Aho.
And last year. And yeah, and this year's Sebastian Aho. So let's take a look at Sebastian Aho in the NHL.
Sebastian in the NHL?
In the NHL.
I'll call up his. And we want the good Sebastian Aho.
Yes.
There it is.
I don't know why stats are not available, but he's got 69 points in 72 games this year.
Has he not played this year?
Yeah. 69 points in 72 games.
Why is it unavailable? Is it because he's playing right now? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. But either way, he's like barely just above a point a game guy. 89 points and is his best. That's his career year. And he's the best player in the DCHL this year.
Well, and I mean, check this out, because check out his career history here. Like, he had a 116-point season one year, a 93-point season in the DCHL. Like, something about him just keeps performing in the league.
So
And you compare that, like, compare his numbers to Connor McDavid. It's ridiculous. Connor McDavid had a 57-point season.
and that wasn't his rookie season.
Oh, like this is the joke of the sim, right?
Yeah.
That this kind of stuff happens, and
Like McDavid's gonna have a hard time passing his total from last year this year, and he only had 83 points last year.
it's I don't get it. I don't get it. And like I can bitch about my own team's lack of success this year, and whatever, to some extent, whatever. But like this kind of stuff, it just makes no sense to me. And Elias Pettersson was bad last year in the NHL,
And he's
and
bad this
he's
year.
bad. I would say he might be worse this year.
Yeah.
And he's putting up 80. He's over a point per game, or he's going to be over a point per game. Like,
Oh.
this is insane. So I don't. Whatever.
Nathan McKinnon. 77 points in 70 games in DCHL.
Yeah, he's had a
Okay.
59-point season, a 49-point season.
Okay.
Yeah,
McKinnon had 109, 140, and 111 points the last 3 years.
and I mean, if you say Connor McDavid's the number one player in the league, you'd have to say McKinnon's number two. And I'm sure people could make an argument that McKinnon's the number one player in the league.
He has a shot at MVP this year.
Yeah.
So
He's top three in the league. I guess you could probably put Kucherov up there or something, but
mhm.
I think you go McDavid 1 and McKinnon 2, and that's in my book. But
Or even if you say you go top 5 and you include Draisaitl is also less than a point a game. So somebody needs to reach out to us, because we're not very smart, and explain to us how the sim thinks that those 5 players that we've talked about are not as good as we think they are, because the sim doesn't think so.
well, and they're on teams with good players.
Yeah.
Like, I could see if you stuck Connor McDavid on Seattle, like a team with no good players. and
Sorry.
I don't mean to. Okay, let me pick on Toronto. Like,
No, let's
Toronto.
go with Seattle. Let's go with Seattle.
Okay, Seattle, Toronto, one of the bad teams. Like, I could see Connor McDavid struggle to score 100 points.
Yep. Nobody to pass the puck to.
But Calgary is a strong team. Leon Draisaitl's on Vancouver, a strong team.
Yep.
Nathan McKinnon, like, he was just traded to Carolina, but before that he was on Nashville with Mitch Marner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good players to play with.
And Johnny Gaudreau and
Yeah.
O'Reilly, Morgan Riley. So
Now, Rupe Hintz does not have as many great players to play with as Connor McDavid, yet he is. And I mean, Columbus is a solid team. I think I've said that all year. But there's no way in hell that Rupe Hintz should be outscoring Connor McDavid.
I agree.
There's no way. And it just, same thing with Sebastian Aho, who's a good player. But come on. Like Jake
But
would even have to admit this makes no freaking sense.
it doesn't. Enjoy it, Jake. Enjoy it.
Seriously. Like that's bizarre. And I will say this, Austin Matthews has 39 goals, but his stats are based off of a 69 goal season he had in the NHL. Like
Yeah.
he scored 69 last year.
But he's still doing much better than the other guys we talked about,
Yeah, okay.
right?
Yeah, no, I guess if we understood why this is working or the way it is, I wouldn't be missing the playoffs and you probably wouldn't either. Like
Yeah,
we,
exactly.
so it is what it is. But
That was you said that you weren't gonna have a rant, but we both had one.
well, I won't have a rant specific to my team. Like pre-show the rant I had pre-show about my team and what's going on. It just blows my mind. But I'll even throw Ovechkin into this equation as underperforming. He's only got 20 goals for my team, and it's one goal in the last 25 games. Now, if there's been a stretch in the actual Alex Ovechkin's career where he had one goal in 25 games, I'd really like to know when that was. Because even last year, he struggled early on in the year and still had like 19 goals or something at the halfway point.
Yeah, and he's last year was his besides the year he got hurt 5 years ago, 31 goals was the least that he's had in the last 5 years, except for 24 and 45 games.
And the most he scored for me is 31.
So,
like, it is what it is. And I have no more right to complain than Connor McDavid
no,
or Leon
no,
Draisaitl.
no.
But it just
and
doesn't.
Kucherov and
Yeah, like these real, like I would even say they have more of a reason to complain because my number one center for Ovechkin is Adam Henry, who's not. Ovechkin's not playing with great players like Connor McDavid is and these other guys. So be it. But it just does. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Neither do I.
And how much of a randomness is there to the sim?
Somebody needs to explain it to us.
Please leave your comments below. Leave your likes and comments below in there.
Yes.
So anyway, what else did we want to talk about? I think we've hit everything we wanted to
I think that was it.
Well, good to be back.
Yeah.
So,
it will get into the playoffs in the next couple weeks, and then draft season, where both of us will be looking at players again because our team didn't make the playoffs.
well, at least I still have a first round pick, so yay that. So go Detroit. I am rooting for Trevor D. I have never rooted for you more in my life than I do right now. And go Tampa Bay. Everybody past Buffalo. That'll be the theme for the rest of the year. Everybody past Buffalo.
Go Tampa Bay.
Anyway, so we'll have to start looking at some draft because there's been some real interesting movement on players. And I will say this, that you and I both early on did not like Higgins at number 1. Early on, we were both not on the Higgins train.
Yeah.
And now he's looking at 3, 4. I've seen him as low as 5, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know that I believe in that.
I don't see him at 5, but to me, there's there's two guys ahead of him. Misa and Matthew Schaefer. Two guys ahead of him.
I agree. I agree. And
So
and again, patting ourselves on the back. I watched Higgins at the World Juniors and went, he's a good player, but I don't know that I'm taking him at number one.
no.
And
But you know what? If I end up with the third pick and he's there, I'll be happy to take him.
absolutely, he reminds me of Logan Cooley, who I really really like. I'm sure everyone who's watched this show knows how much I like Logan Cooley. He just reminds me of that level of player, and
Yeah.
I think Matthew Schaefer is definitely a better defenseman. Like assuming the injury, assuming he fully recovers from the injury,
Mhm.
and that's information you and I will never have.
Yeah.
And Misa was freaking amazing this year. Freaking amazing. Like
72 goals.
I couldn't, if I was picking at two, I could not turn my back on him. Like I'd have to pick. And
Yeah.
that's assuming Schaefer was picked at one, and if I'm picking at one, I'm going to need assurances that Schaefer's okay before I pick him over Misa.
Yeah. It's I agree. The shoulder, he broke his clavicle, so he should be able to come back from that, and I think he might be able to play in the playoffs if Erie makes it past the first round.
Okay. See, you have more of this information than I do. Well done.
So
like I've heard Porter Martone ranked higher than Higgins, and I like Porter Martone, but I don't know that I'd go him over Higgins.
It's
a different kind of player.
completely, and you're looking at center versus a winger, and then you're looking at a power forward versus a skilled center. So, right, Erie is up 2-0 on Saginaw.
There you go.
So.
Okay, so we can leave it here, and we'll have to do a draft simulation mock draft in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think we can do a show we definitely can't do one next Sunday because I'll be at the Ottawa Senators game.
Okay. So.
But I don't know if you can do Monday.
No, Mondays. The only time I can do Monday is Monday if there's a holiday.
Okay, so probably no Monday.
Monday's a busy day for me.
Okay, and so we won't be doing a show next week then.
Yeah.
Because I ain't doing one from my hotel in Ottawa.
No.
Nope. And that's it. I don't know. You will just log off here and.
Yep, I think that's good.
We have 4 people watching right now, so hello
Really?
to the 4 people that are watching.
The next show we need to talk. I think we've talked about it, but Caden, I don't know if you heard that Caden Lindstrom is committed to Michigan State University for next year.
Weird. That's
So
weird.
We need to talk about that again. The implication of the NCAA saying that they will accept CHL players
But why?
that haven't signed a contract.
Yeah, but why? Why is he going? Like,
you know why? Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about it now. Here's my opinion. Okay, if you're playing in the CHL, he's already proven that he's one of the best players in the league in WHL. As a 17-year-old, he averaged more than a point a game. Didn't play a lot. I think he had 47 points in 34 games, if I remember correctly. Okay. So, and this year he didn't play. In college hockey is a higher level of competition than the CHL is. And the reason why it's a higher level of competition is because you're playing against 20-year-old, 21-year-old,
Players are older.
22. Okay. Not Luca Pinelli, but a couple of players from the Ottawa Senators, 67s, just they're 20-year-old. Will Giroux, he just finished his 20-year-old year. He just signed to go play university hockey in the States. He's going to be 21 to 25 when he's playing. So just imagine you're not playing against 16, 17-year-olds. They're getting a lot of ice time. You're playing against 19, 20, 21, up to 25 years old players. So the level of competition at college level is going to be higher, but I think the better development is in the CHL because you're going to be able to play at a higher level younger than if like a 17-year-old goes to college hockey, unless they're Macklin Celebrini, they're not going to get any ice time, but they will in CHL. And also a lot of the younger players like Cale Makar had not graduated from high school yet before he turned 18. So he played in the Alberta Junior League, which is not the same level as the CHL. So it's all about the level of competition that they're going to be facing. So I think over the next few years, you're going to see younger players like going to the CHL, and then after they get drafted, they're going to go to college hockey to face the higher competition. Misa, Gavin McKenna, and Porter Martone, they're all looking to go to college hockey next year. They're all rumored.
You know that he didn't make this decision without talking to Columbus.
Well, he's a couple of hours. He goes from being on the other side of the country where he's playing in
Medicine Hat?
Sorry?
Is he in Medicine Hat? Yes.
No.
Well, he was in Medicine Hat. Yeah. Caden Lindstrom's Medicine Hat.
Okay, so in Alberta and going to Michigan State, which is what, 4-hour drive from Columbus?
Might not even be that far.
Yeah. So
depending on
Lansing,
where in
Michigan
Columbus.
to Columbus, Ohio, 3 to 4 hour drive. So how often is Columbus going to be able to go and watch them play next year at a higher level competition?
Well, and you know that they're going to, like any of these high level draft picks, you know they're meeting with them regularly and they're going over what they want them working on.
Yep.
So you could it could be just that they want him closer, right?
Yeah.
So Zach just messaged us
Yes.
that it's because better doctors available in Michigan for his back. Maybe. I'm sure there's great doctors in Alberta too.
And Columbus is not going to mince under first pick overall at number 4 and get them their best doctors also. Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's more that Columbus wants to be directly in touch and in communication with him for his development.
Yeah.
And they can do that more if he's in the neighborhood, which is what he would be in if he's in Michigan instead of Alberta.
Yeah.
But
let the floodgates open. I think there's going to be quite a few players that are going to do that over the next few years. So
I don't believe it's for his education.
No, because he won't be there long enough for his education.
Like maybe he gets his diploma in summer school over the next 6 years or something, but he ain't going there. He ain't going there for the education.
And he's not going to be there for 4 years. He might be there for 2.
No, but he might still be taking summer classes over the
Yeah,
next.
yeah, yeah.
But
Absolutely.
he ain't playing hockey there for 4 years for sure. Like if he plays 1 year and then joins the Columbus Blue Jackets, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one surprised me. But I mean, you make a lot of sense in your points.
So he's the first one. There was a lot of guys that left, not college, but left, well, a couple left college, but some have left the UCHL, USHL, and a lot left the junior A ranks in Canada to go play in the CHL because they didn't lose their eligibility to be able to go to college after. Like in Ottawa here, Ryan White, who's Todd White's son, he's still small, tons of skills.
One of my favorite Ottawa Senators to watch.
Me too. Me too. And he's still young, still small, and he was hurt most of the year, and he decided to sign with Ottawa and come back to Ottawa next year because it gives him the opportunity. He's getting playing time. He's going to get stronger. He's going to learn the game more. He's going to get opportunities, and then after that, he's going to go to college where he can continue his education.
How old is he?
He's just got drafted, so he's 16, turning 17, or he's around 17.
Okay, so he's a future draft pick in the NHL potential.
Yeah, yeah, but he's small. You know, the Florida Panthers and these DCHL won't be drafting him.
So is Todd White.
He's a defenseman. He's a small defenseman.
Oh well.
So
see, you have to be remarkably good for me to draft you if you're small and you're a defenseman.
Yeah.
Remarkably good. So, okay, well, let's leave it at that. And I'll lean forward and show off my Two Bald Guys t-shirt.
Yep. Looks like we're showing boobs right now.
Yes, I know. It's we just made ourselves R-rated. Okay, so we'll see everybody in probably in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Okay.
Have a good night, guys.